like the right guy for unlocking this offense.
I'm about to start over.
Okay.
Yeah. One time for the city. Yeah. Same aura as before. The smoke got blowing orange laws, meaning you pursue at your own cause. Last of a breed to do it how we was taught.
All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Friday evening. Another edition of KFTV Live presented by KnicksFanTV.com. CP the Fanchise in the building. Special guest, he's our guy, George Esguerra, a.k.a. Into the Knicksverse, in the building. On today's show, hey, we are going to take you back into Knicks training camp Day 3. We have some sights and sounds from the captain Jalen Brunson, from Mike Brown, and from the dog OG Anunoby. Plus, the league, or ESPN rather, is putting some respect on the captain Jalen Brunson's name. We are going to go through the ESPN top 10 and talk about where the captain's standing is. And hey, should it be higher? Should it be lower? We're going to talk about that. Plus, Mike Brown, you know, George, you've been talking, saying Mike Brown, you like what Mike Brown has been saying. He says we could potentially be in store for a new role for Karl Anthony Towns. So we're going to talk about that. And Julius speaks out. Julius Randle with a tell-all through The Athletic, through John Krasinski, about his time in New York, man. So lock in, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, this is the home of the diehard Knicks fan, man. For the fans, by the fans, like, share, and subscribe. Salute to everybody on this beautiful Friday evening, man.
Absolutely.
How you feeling, man?
I feel good, man. I feel really good. I just got one thing I want to say is thank you for holding it down for all of us this summer, man.
Yeah,
keeping up the content.
Good, all good,
you know,
yeah.
Because I had to take some time off.
Yo, it felt like it did not end, man. Just especially the way their news cycle, the Knicks news cycle, came about, from like Tibbs firing, then like this extensive coaching search for 2 months, then free agency, then they get the coach, then we get assistant coaches. So it just kept going, man.
Kept going. It was nonstop. I had to like do a forced break.
Yes,
which I needed it. I got to every year. I got to do at least take a month off. This time it was almost 2 months, because honestly, with what had developed towards the end of the season and the hiring of Mike Brown, and then they signed Clarkson and Yabusele right away. Writing was on the wall. This is going to be the most significant season the Knicks have had. I mean, I can go back to, the 90s Knicks, and there were some 80s teams, but if all goes right, could be the most significant season in 50 years for us fans.
No question about it. And with that, the captain Jalen Brunson is going to be at the forefront here. He is the guy. This is his team. And here he was today, during media day, during training camp, speaking on this new look offense and what impact it's going to have on this team. Here we go.
I think it's things are different, obviously, but certain things are definitely different from what we've done the past couple of years. But we knew that coming in, that things were going to be different, and so it's all about how we adapt and how we adjust, and how quickly we do so, and just making sure we help each other.
Mike said he would like to see you guys get up 40 threes, if not more, per game, and thinks you have the ability to do that. Has that been something talked about, in terms of volume of threes?
Generating good shots, yes. The volume, technically, perhaps not yet, but we're still trying to understand concepts, understand where we need to be on the floor, our pace, spacing, and stuff like that. And I think obviously once we understand that, and once we know where everyone's going to be when we're making plays for ourselves or for each other, that'll be a lot easier.
You had obviously Tom for the last few years, and now this is new. How long do you think that process will take for you to really know where everybody's going to be and understand exactly what Mike wants you to do?
Yeah, I necessarily don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but hopefully relatively fast, and continue to get better off of it. I think even with Tibbs the past couple of years, we were still learning how to do certain things. We were still getting better at certain things. So I don't want to say I'm going to master it at any point. I'm just going to continue to get better and better and be more fluent at it. So it's going to be a process for sure.
How much?
So it's interesting, right? Like, these are the questions where the expectations are right through the roof. When are you going to get it together? When are we going to have this new thing?
It's been 3 days.
It's been 3 days. But I like his answers. I like, yesterday Mike Brown said, look, it's going to take some time. But obviously we're going to set our sights high. We're trying to get roles established in game one, and we're trying to get everybody on the same page by game one. But like he also said it's going to take some time. Cap said it's going to take some time. But it's just interesting, those questions in terms of when are these guys going to get used to this new system?
What's interesting, the most interesting thing to me that comes out of that is not so much Jalen. It's the press corps, the media corps. You can sense, they're on pins and needles, man. They know what this season's about, what the potential this season, and they want, okay, how long is it going to take? And I love him. He just brings them all, like, grounds them. It just shows why he is the successful person that he is in life. The way he approaches things, he's just so considerate about everything. And that is why I believe that what Mike Brown has been preaching, we're going to get into that later, why it's going to work, because it has to start with him. And I'm just going to start off. I'm going to just say this right now. If it works and Mike Brown is able to turn Jalen Brunson into Jalen Curry, the Knicks are going to win the championship, and he's going to win the MVP. Right here. Remember this moment.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now, if it works, because where else is there to go? Brunson has the same tools that Curry has. He's not obviously the deep ball shooter that Curry is,
right.
But his range has extended in the past couple seasons. He is money on the catch and shoot. Even on the pull-up threes. I saw on Yahoo, some guys were talking about the Knicks and talking about the dribbles per game. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
How Brunson was like at 550 dribbles per game. And Luka and Harden, who are known as, big-time ball hogs, they were down like the low 400s. And no one else was even close. If Mike Brown can take a lot of that pressure off of Brunson, that, of course, late in the game, tight game, that's going to happen, but not throughout the whole game. I mean, that was Tibbs' strategy throughout the whole game. Now he's going to be fresher. He's going to be more dynamic. The offense itself, we'll get into that specifically. But when you listen to Brunson talking there, he doesn't want to make any mistakes in how he speaks. And I love how calculated he is in his answers. And I don't know if you saw the rest of it. He often asks them to repeat the question, stuff like that. That's the guy that I want leading our team.
Yeah,
I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic that he's on this team, and I'm so thrilled for the season.
100%. Here is a question from Trilogy from James Edwards of The Athletic. In terms of his question was basically, are we making too much of this new offense and what they're going to implement? And at the end of the day, is it just basketball? But I like Jalen's answer. Here was Trilogy. Here we go.
I was going to say to that, is some of it easier because they're core players who know each other already?
Yeah, I think it can be easier if you look at it that way. But I think for us, we're trying to keep it as a blank slate, and just completely start over, completely just restart everything and just have it be a fresh start and kind of block out everything that we've already learned and then kind of just start fresh to understand that this is something completely new. Things aren't going to be the same. So how quickly can we just use this fresh start to understand new concepts faster?
Kind of with that, how much do we overemphasize when they say he's coming in with a new system or philosophy? Like, it's basketball at the end of the day. Like, I'm sure a lot of the stuff you guys have seen, is it just more stuff is emphasized differently from one person, one coach to a previous coach, or is there actual philosophy type changes that
you said? How do we say it again?
Do we overemphasize
we as in you guys?
Media or fans?
You guys overemphasize a lot.
Well, I was teeing it up, but yeah.
I would say it's I don't want to say it's the same, things are different. Verbiage is different. Philosophy and things that you do can be different. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's still basketball. The terms are different. The things that you do, you may be called different things, or you may set screens differently. Maybe different techniques and things that you do. Things can be installed different to where you understand things differently. So it's everyone sees like the end product, the big picture, and everything looks very familiar. And but for us, it's all about the attention and detail. How can the little fine things that we do all season?
All right, so that was that. But you know what Captain is saying is it is going to be different. It is basketball at the end of the day, but how they get to the end goal is going to be different. And for Mike Brown, that's how it needs to be. For any new coach coming in under these circumstances, it's trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to tweak from last year, previous years to get us over the hump? And for Mike Brown, it's going to start with your two pillars in Brunson and Towns. What do we need to do differently to still make them the all-stars that they were, but just a bit more effective, if you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Look, I think it's going to be eventually as they keep working through these. He's talking about concepts. And, no one's actually specifically asked Mike Brown to explain what these concepts are. And they didn't follow up into questions. Like, what do you mean by concepts here? So I'm just going to extrapolate and, you tell me what you think about that. But to me, I look at it this way. Like last season, it was, imagine, you ever see those videos where these choreography where it's pretty pedestrian. This season, it's going to be like a ballet where people are shooting to the corners, constant motion. Cat is going to be in motion. There's not going to be no stagnation. The ball's not going to stop. And it's not about one guy dribbling. Of course, there's going to be moments for that, as always.
Yeah.
But he's going to implement the Steve Kerr Golden State type offense here, and which he used to some degree in with Sacramento.
Yeah.
But De'Aaron Fox isn't the shooter that Curry is, and he's not the shooter that Brunson is. Mm-hmm. He's not even the creator, honestly, that he is. He's just super fast. He's talented. His talents are really different. Steph's and Jalen's talents are more aligned, and Cat is actually a much more talented shooter from all parts of the court than Sabonis is. Sabonis definitely has a better passing ability. His dad was an amazing passer. Yes. I don't know if you ever got to see him.
Sure, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. But look, we've seen Cat be really creative. I mean, with those behind the back passes, when his whole thing, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here talking about this, but his whole thing of using Cat as a hub for the offense is going to completely change everything for this Knicks team. Having him on the elbow, making decisions, kind of like, remember Anthony Mason?
Sure.
He was like a prototypical early version of that type of power forward, point forward kind of guy who ran the offense from that. It was never officially established that way, but that's what he did. That was his role. Imagine that in a 7-footer like Cat, who even at the elbow, if he just decides to shoot it, what is the average from there? 44%, 45% from there? This is going to change and liberate everybody tremendously. And darting to those corners, like Mike Brown was talking about, I think it was yesterday, when they don't get there fast enough, he blows the whistle. He says, again.
Yeah.
Again. Make it instinctual. And that's what I think Brunson's talking about when he's talking about the concepts.
Yeah.
Those things have to become instinctual, and that's going to take time. We're not going to see it in game one, even in Abu Dhabi. Game two, we're probably maybe going to start seeing that. I don't know. What's your guess? My guess is
like 2030.
Yeah.
I say 2030.
20 or 30 games into the season.
Yeah. 2030. And that'll allow Brown to utilize different lineups. JJ Redick met with the media yesterday. He said, I don't care about starting lineups. I thought that was an interesting quote. Lakers are in a bit different situation. But I think over that period of time, we'll get to see different rotations, see what works. I think Brown is going to lean into the data more, which I think will help this team as well. and then we'll see how they get out and start clicking. So definitely interesting stuff there from the captain. And then earlier today, or yesterday rather, ESPN finished their top 100, and coming in at number 10, here he is, Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? No longer the unknown. Yeah. In casual,
second round pick.
Right. In casual NBA circles, no longer the unknown. Everybody here knew him, and from the Nova and the Knick Connection and all of that. No longer an unknown, man. Number 10 is Jalen Brunson. Coming in at 9, you got KD. 8, LeBron. Last year he was 7.
The 3 GOATs.
Last year Jalen was 12, so he moves from 12 to 10. KD stays at 9 last year. LeBron 8 from 7 last year. Number 7 is Steph. He moves up 1 from 6 last year.
Ooh.
Number 6 is Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, who makes a big jump from number 10 to number 6. And speaking of another big jump, number 5, Victor Wembanyama jumps up from 11 to 5 from 11. Number 4, the Greek freak Giannis. He goes to 4 from number 3 last year. Number 3, Luka Doncic, who was number 2 last year. Number 2, which I think is ridiculous, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who moves from number 4 to number 2. And number 1 is the Joker. Once again, the Joker reigns supreme. What do you think about this list? If you look at 11 and 12, just to look at the people after Jalen, 11 and 12.
Yeah, who are those?
I'll tell you right now. I got to scroll up. This goes from 51 and then the top 10. Hang on.
I think it's like 11 to 50.
Yeah, where is this? Okay, here we go. Yes, there we go. 11 to 50. Okay, let's scroll all the way down here. All the way down. I will get to Cat in a second. 11, Jalen Williams, J-Dub. 12, Cade. 13, Evan Mobley. 14, 80. 15, Donovan, the Spider.
Cade was 12.
Cade was 12.
Wow.
Cade is 12.
One
last year, he was 67.
I'm curious. Is this based on what they have done or what they think they're going to do?
Good question. Let's see here. Continues to rank. Today we rank entering the 25-26 season. To get to the final rank, we asked our expert panel to vote on player versus player matchups for more than 20,000 possible pairings. Voters were asked which player will be better in 25-26 and had to predict how each player would perform this season. So I guess it's predictive.
So it's
projecting.
Yeah.
It's projecting. Correct.
So they're projecting Joker's going to be the best player.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's
all right.
Okay.
All
right. In that respect, now that it helps because I thought Wembanyama is a major reach.
I thought that was a reach. Big time.
And also Ant. I thought Ant at 6. I could see Ant at 10. You know, I think Jalen deserves to be more in the 7 and 8 range. Mm-hmm. Honestly, there were 4 teams standing last season, and the Knicks were, basically some crazy buckets away from getting to the finals, and that only happens with Jalen Brunson.
With the clutch player of the year.
Exact clutch player of the year. So he deserves to be like scratching at the top 5. I'd be fine if they had placed him 7th or 8th. I think 10th is I think they screwed up with 10th, placing him as 10th. And part of that happens because maybe they're projecting a big year from Wembanyama. I mean, to be 5th best player in the NBA.
That's crazy. I think they're wilding. He's got to be healthy first.
Yeah, and Ant. Ant. Who knows? I mean, for all we know, Ant may have a regression year.
How about KD?
Step back.
How about KD?
KD with Houston without Fred now for
37.
It's 37. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Right.
But I get that. I get that idea. This like respect the 3 GOATs, right?
Yes.
Steph. LeBron, KD, they
in order, in that order.
In that order. They snuck him into the top 10. I think a lot of that is based on previous effort. Because this could. I know we've been saying it, we've been waiting for years, but this could be the year where LeBron finally regresses. What's he going to be? He's 40. Going to be 41 playing.
The glass slipper's got to come off at some point. For all that time, got to be like, yo, bro, come on, man. I've been waiting for years.
It happens to all of us. I was a little jealous I couldn't play in that Knicks Twitter thing that you guys played, which looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh man, I haven't played. I've been out of shape like crazy. I had plantar fasciitis for like a year and stuff. So anyway, so finally in Canada, I played some basketball with my son and some friends at my brother's wedding the next day or whatever. I was dying.
Done. You cooked.
I was dying.
Done.
I was I mean, I was a high scorer. I ended up being a high scorer.
Nice.
Dead. Yeah. I was exhausted. And to think that LeBron, and of course he's a freak of nature, but at some point. Yeah. And same with KD. Now Steph, I can see Steph is just he's a wizard. He's a magician. He's still going to be. I think the drop off for him is going to be much less potentially, but you never know. All three of those guys could repeat what they did last season. Could be amazing, but I think Brunson definitely should have been
a couple slots up.
Yeah.
Couple slots up. Brandon Guest in the chat. Shout out to Brandon Guest. Speaking of Knicks Twitter, he is part of our championship team. Shout out our guy B Guest. He said not one single American in that top 5. What do you think about that, American. Man? Not one. Yeah, Victor, the Freak, Luka, SGA, and Jokic. And we can argue the order, but that's a legit 5 right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I don't have any issues with the top 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, Victor.
I mean, other than Victor.
Yeah, Victor.
Other than Victor. Sorry,
I'm
the
not
top
so
4.
sure. Yeah,
the top 4.
Yeah, safe
the
4.
top 4.
Safe 4.
Yeah.
Safe 4. Yeah. I mean, but again, if you're going off of projection, hey, maybe he makes it there.
But Cade is 12.
Cade is 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's not like it's not impossible. He has come a long way. I mean, when I was scouting him early on, back when we had number one picks and it mattered, I used to dive into it deeply. I could see this guy was going to be an all-star. There was no doubt. Who knows? He could end up delivering on that promise, and the Pistons will be a problem.
I still feel like Cade gets criminally disrespected in this league, man. I don't know about you. I just.
But 12 is not.
No, sorry, not Cade. Shea. I said Shea.
You think Shea should have been number 1?
Yeah. How do you not have the reigning MVP, the MVP of everything in these playoffs, the guy who had his team in record differential, dominating and going all the way to winning the championship, taking that team to the championship?
That's a good point.
Where's the respect there?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's not like he was just along for the ride. No, that was his team.
And interestingly, he towards the end, to actually help OKC win it all, he had to become Jalen Brunson. He was super ball dominant. He's like, I'm taking it to the hole. I'm stop and shoot. He basically, it was almost identical games, except one's a little longer.
Yeah. But his defense was formidable in those players.
Yeah, his defense, though. His defense is just outstanding.
Yeah. So, I mean, for a two-way play, I'm giving him the edge over the Joker, man.
Yeah.
The brilliance of the Joker. I'm giving Shea the edge, and he deserves it. But we'll just leave it at that, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. CP and George, aka Into the Knicksverse, on this Friday night. Hope you guys having a good time and enjoying yourselves, enjoying the start of the weekend. And we just here chopping it up with Knicks, man. Training camp got us juice, George. We got preseason coming up Thursday, post game live Thursday. We got Saturday. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready.
We have a game in a week.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm hyped about it. And, we talked about the captain, but how about the big bodega? Because it's not just Jalen Brunson who could be slotted in for a new role. It could be Karl Anthony Towns, because here was head coach Mike Brown on how he intends to use Cat this season. Here we go.
They're different players, okay, but their skills.
This is Mike Brown comparing Cat to Sabonis, and then he goes more into Cat. Here we go.
Set is at an extremely high level. Yeah. And so there are going to be some things that Sabonis did do that for sure Cat can do when he's at the 5. Yeah. And then vice versa. Cat, we're going to move him around a lot. He's not just going to play the 5.
Yeah.
And so he'll be all over the floor. And his ability to shoot the basketball will show because we're going to move him around.
All right, 2 more. OG.
Yeah, so there you go, man. He's going to move him around. And he compared the passing ability with him and Sabonis. And I think Cat, he showed it last year. I like his passing ability. I think he's a good passer. And
yeah, he's a plus passer, for sure.
Plus.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing them kind of tap into that a little more.
He also said, I don't know if it was in that one or at some point, he also said he doesn't want Cat to be trailing. And that is something that really bothered me a lot last year. You know, not only did we take we took forever to get over the half-court line, and then we only had like 16 minutes left to run a play. You know, the ball's being passed around, the play's being run, and you're like, where's Cat? You know, and then Cat enters the view. Sometimes they'd give it to him, he'd just shoot it from 30 feet out, and he'd hit it, but other times it was, then do a dribble handoff, and it's just a dead play, and then you basically have to give it to Brunson to create something, or Cat just takes it off the dribble. Mm-hmm. That's not really an NBA offense that's going to thrive over the course of time, and teams are going to know what you're going to do. The idea, the other concept that Browns was talking about is keep defenses guessing, constantly guessing. Where's the ball? Who's the one who's going to take the shot? Somebody's going to switch up. That is the stuff that I love, and I think it's going to unlock Cat. Cat also may have the best season of his career.
Good.
As well.
Certainly hope so. And I think as they move him around and they have the appropriate spacing, passing lanes, cutting lanes. I think about OG. I think about Mikal Bridges. I think about Brunson off of dribble handoffs or just cutting to the basket, and Karl can find them. He had some really good stretches last year during the regular season, man, where OG, Josh Hart, Mikal just cutting off of those, Towns getting that ball in the pinch post, and those guys just dive into the basket. They had a lot of success there, and I think Mike Brown sees that and wants to really tap into that. So I'm excited to see how they utilize Towns. He even said he could see Towns pushing the ball up, which I'm like, whoa. We don't need that. Yeah. I don't need him going full steam ahead and crashing into somebody, picking up offensive foul and knock on wood, getting hurt. We could slow that down. We got more than enough ball handlers, but hey, whatever.
And turnovers were an issue with Cat last season. Exactly. So that maybe that's on Mike Brown's wish list. Maybe he'll pull that one back. Not have Cat bring the ball up himself. But hey, if there's a moment calls for it, why not go for it? Keep the defense on their back heels, guessing what's going to happen. Not be so comfortable. And that's one of the things that we saw with the Pacers. They basically knew what we were going to run all the time. And Rick Carlisle, being the brilliant mastermind that he is, he had them ready for us. And we still almost overcame that. This is, man, I'm just hyped. I can't wait. I want games. I want games, CP.
Yeah. No question about it, man. No question about it. Salute to you guys in the chat. Salute to everybody rocking with us. We got a good crowd here on this Friday night. CP and George on the ones and twos. And we got a super chat that just came in. I'm waiting for my audio board to load here. I'm waiting for my soundboard to load. It's getting me a little bit of trouble. So while we wait on that, shout out to Omega Rex 73, $10 super chat, and number one on the chat leaderboard. He says Mike Brown is 4-2 against OKC. With all this talk of schemes, what do you think we need to shore up to win a series against an OKC type? Like the Last Dragon, what styles do we need to see to say we mastered? What styles do we need to see we mastered? I think I got, Last Dragon, who's the master? So I like that. Yeah, shout out to Show Enough, rest in peace, man. Hey, yo, Leroy, all of that. What do you think, man?
Well, for one, defense. That's our offense is going to be clicking, and I mean, OKC has a great defense. Those things are going to butt up against each other, and the factor that's going to give us a chance if we make it to the finals against them is going to be our defense. And we've been talking all about offense this entire time, basically, at this moment. That is what I haven't heard Mike talk too much about, except for he said, I want to make them feel us defensively without fouling.
Physical. Cat without fouling.
Physical without fouling, because that's what screwed us a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Cat would pick up 3 fouls. It wasn't just Cat. Other guys would pick up a couple fouls, and then suddenly you're going in with and our bench is stronger this year, but last year it wasn't. So we were constantly compromised by the foul. We were plagued by fouls. So that I'm curious to see how that manifests itself. What is it that Brown's going to actually implement defensively so that we can be more physical without fouling? Now, we got technically two of the best defensive wings in the NBA. So OG and McCall are going to help tremendously against OKC, neutralize Jay Will. And I guess, I mean, who are you going to have on Shea at that point? Because you can't have Brunson on Shea. You're probably going to have McCall on Shea and OG on Jay Will.
Yeah.
And depending on who the fifth starter is, but at this point, it feels like it's going to end up being Mitch at this point. I'm assuming. So then Mitch will handle Hartenstein, and then Cat will have to be on Chet. That's an interesting matchup. That's a great finals.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, against a team like an OKC who, 1 through 5 are very stout individual defenders. It's a lot of what we saw in the first half of their game in OKC when they went in there and they were running and gunning against those guys. Like, you've got to move the ball against a team like that. You've got to make them scramble so that you are finding these open looks and knocking those down. And at the same time, where OKC feasted on the league was off of those turnovers because their defense was so good. You have to take care of the ball. You cannot give those guys extra ammunition to kill you with. So, those are one of the things, like in the finals when the Pacers got back into this series, all those games that they won were the games where they were taking care of the rock. They were limiting the turnovers, points off of turnovers they were limiting, and the games that they lost was when they would just bust the thing wide open and be damn near handing the Thunder opportunities to score. And then, as you said, defensively, that is where, Mike Brown is going to get paid. He hasn't talked about that much yet. How and nobody's really asked that question in these media scrums. How do you protect two weak defenders in your starting five?
Ian,
that's where
Ian, ask Mike, ask Coach Brown about.
I'm going to ask Christian.
Come on, Ian. Yeah, you could hear Ian's voice in that one clip.
Yeah,
he has such a great voice.
Yeah.
He should do like voiceovers for animated cartoons or something.
For sure.
Put him on Bob's Burgers or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
For sure.
But yes, you guys, media guy, the reporters are in the media pool there. Ask him about the defense. That's the one thing that I'm most curious about. Our offense was top 5 last season, though it did drop off after January 1st.
And 10th against top 10 defenses. 10th. No, I mean, not a crazy drop off, but 10th. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a big. That's big. That's big considering who you're going to end up playing in the playoffs. So that is something I definitely want to know. But then again, do we want to know? Because that means other people will know. But I want to. I just want to know that they're working on it.
Right.
Which I'm sure they are. They are.
Another thing, and again, the person that said the offense isn't a problem. You can have a good offensive rating by being good in isolation.
Yeah.
At times, isolation can only get you so far. That's the conundrum. That is why Mike Brown is here. And that is why, as Jalen said, they're sprinkling in new things. Remember, this is a top 5 offense, and they're still coming in here with a brand new offense, brand new concepts to try to diversify and try to make the offense a little bit more versatile. And he mentioned pace. And he mentioned with the threes, they did not, as good as their offense was, they did not get up enough three. That is the problem why their differential against the elite teams was so lopsided. They were ran out the gym against Boston and Cleveland and OKC, ultimately later on against the Pacers, because those guys were hoisting threes over the Knicks, and they could not keep up.
Yeah.
After a while, it doesn't matter how good a defense you're playing if you can't match the output.
And that's why the turnover stats, we were one of the lowest turnover teams during the regular season, but it's a skewed stat because we're putting up less shots. Our pace is slower. So there's less possessions. But then once you're playing against these high octane offenses, the pace is ramped up. You got the ball in your hands a lot more often. And then suddenly they start turning the ball over a lot. And that's what we saw in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that but I think one of those things, one of the benefits of carrying over a lot of continuity from last season to this season with the roster, I think the familiarity is going to really benefit them.
Yes.
Last year we had 2 new guys. McCall, 40% of our starting unit was brand new, and Mitch wasn't even around until February. So there was a lot of continuity. Thibs had to deal with a lot of that, but now they have that familiarity. They have a full preseason, a full training camp, and Mike Brown. Actually, Mike Brown's actual forte is defense.
Yeah,
that's his actual forte.
That's right.
And now he's brought in this Golden State Warriors offensive philosophy, marrying those two, man, with this roster. And we haven't even talked about Yabusele.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I mean, I've been hearing things like people might be saying, they're saying like, maybe should he be the 5th starter?
Who, Yabusele?
Yeah.
No. I would do that. No.
I don't think so, but I've been hearing that.
Yeah. No. I would still, I'm still keeping him off the bench. Him off the bench.
Defensive, because mostly because of defense.
Yeah.
Honestly. You know, I think that's the main reason that I don't think he should start. Deuce, I could see an argument for Deuce. He's a plus defender. He's a clutch shooter, and he's so steady. Even when he's not, his shot's not falling, it doesn't last that long. He's not that streaky either way. What you see at some point is basically what you're going to get almost the whole season. He'll have a little hot period, a little cool period, but it's not like. Remember how RJ used to be?
Yeah.
My God, he'd be flaming hot, and then
cool off. A week off,
ice cold.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that was Mike Brown's thoughts on Cat. OG did meet with these guys, but as I thought, you're not going to get much from OG, man. Like, you're going to get as cookie cutter as it gets. So there really wasn't much to take away from that. But, I mean, if you want to talk, what are you expecting from the dog this season, man? What do you think?
I'm expecting from him?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing. Like, if all goes correctly, again, I'm expecting a career year for him, defensively and offensively. His efficiency, he had one of the worst corner 3 shooting seasons of his career last year. That's an anomaly. He's one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the game. I thought Mikal Bridges actually had a pretty poor season, but when I looked at the numbers, he actually had one of his best corner 3-point.
He did.
Yeah. Cat shot at terrible from the corner.
Not that much. That's going to be interesting if they put him in there.
So those are anomalies. So when those spike up, it's going to free everybody else up. And I think OG is going to have a lot more freedom, especially imagine him in a motion offense. He kind of tries to play that way anyway.
Yeah.
When he takes the ball, off the dribble, kind of in a pistol action at times, even though it's not officially a play's not run for him that way. He kind of tries to create it in a motion offense when he's cutting back cuts. He's going to get easy dunks. And Cat's going to be at the elbow finding him. And that's going to just open the floor for everybody else. I think he's going to have a tremendous season. And hopefully, Mike Brown challenged him today. He said, I'm expecting all defensive first team for OG Anunoby. So that's the expectation. And I'm sure OG, I think he himself said defensive player of the year is always his goal. If he can come through with those things, this is what I'm saying. All these things can come together, health allowing, because that's the one thing that we cannot control. If people are healthy, if these guys are healthy and they buy into the system, which they obviously are because these guys are tremendous professionals, it all comes together and we might see like a tremendous explosion out on that court about game 20 in this season, where things just start clicking and this becomes like the team to beat in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly hope so, man. Great points by you. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel, CP the Fanchise. We got George Esguerra, a.k.a. Into the Knicksverse, in the building on a beautiful Friday night, man. It was a nice day out here in New York, man. How was the weather out by you, man? How was the weather out by you today, man?
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So
it's LA, man.
Right. It is LA at the end of the day, man. Yeah. I do miss that about LA for sure. So
you coming out to LA this year?
I hope so. God willing, I can make it out there, man. Last year we were trying to make it out there. You just couldn't due to unforeseen circumstances. But we're trying to get there this year, man. So stay tuned for sure.
All right,
for sure. Okay, well, speaking of LA, we had a guy who used to play for the Lakers. He used to play for the Knicks. He cut his teeth here in New York and became a man here in New York. And that was one Julius Randle, man. Julius Randle sat down with our guy, a friend of the program who does excellent work in John Krasinski, who covers the Timberwolves for The Athletic. And, John does a lot of these in-depth pieces on players. He did one on Karl Anthony Towns just as he had left Minnesota last year after the trade. And he did one with Julius Randle as we are just about a year 1-year anniversary since the trade, the pre-training camp blockbuster that sent Karl Anthony Towns here to New York and Julius Randle to Minnesota. That's first heard here on KnicksFanTV. And, but as Julius told John Krasinski, man, his time here in New York was not all peaches and rainbows. Randle says here in The Athletic, he says, in regards to being in Minnesota, he says now he feels like he can breathe. It just feels very settled, is what Julius says. He says, I would say even this summer leading up to the season is probably the happiest I've been in a really long time as far as just career, family, and everything. And when he talks about New York, he says New York was an amazing time. It was a great place. I loved it. I had a lot of great moments there and great experiences and met a lot of great people and played a lot of great games. You get to play in the Garden, have all those experiences, but it also comes with a lot. It comes with a lot of different things, and it's a lot to navigate. And the article also says the isolation after he got hurt. You remember he got hurt. He had the ankle injury against the Heat. He said the isolation and the narrative about his performance took him into a dark place. He self-medicated with marijuana. He suffered from depression, anger, and anxiety in 2023. The league stopped testing players in 2023, so he was self-medicating. He says, at the end of that time, I was kind of at my darkest moment, just miserable, like in a way where I was just not having fun going to work every single day. What do you think, man?
Well, for one, Julius, today's weed ain't like yesterday's weed. It's way too strong.
Well, those THC doses be hitting,
that
man.
THC can really, plant you down in that sofa, and you're like, oh, shit, what's that sound? Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he was self-medicating. He obviously, we've talked about this before. He lives in his head a lot. He doesn't have the ability, like what Jalen was talking about before. You got to just forget. You have a short memory, right? Julius, no, it's all stored in there. And then he gets injured and he can't contribute. And he sees the team, could use him. He wants to be the man. He's been the man. He was the man on this team. It's frustrating. I could see all of that, and I feel for him. I kind of because I've been tough on him. I would just be straight with everybody. I was tough on him during a lot of the tenure here, especially the thumbs down stuff. He just operates on a different wavelength than most stars do. To be a star, you have to handle the bright lights, and there are no brighter lights in the world in sports than at MSG, especially with the media intensity as well, and with the whole negative BS that you get from ESPN in general for the Knicks. It's softened, in the past year or two. But you know how it was 5 years ago. it was atrocious.
Atrocious.
Hashtag LOL Knicks, all this stuff. That started from ESPN. So, and then Julius comes into this, and he helped. He was instrumental in pulling us out of that darkness. But you could always see he wasn't quite mentally prepared for being the superstar. He has the talents to be it, but not the mental abilities. I remember when they had the guy on the sideline helping him.
Yes.
What was that whole thing?
The
meditation guy or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he needed that. So now in Minnesota, it's much quieter. It's much quieter, much chiller. And he's got Ant. Ant is the obvious star there. And Rudy is kind of he's a big personality as well. Mm-hmm. And he's humongous on top of that. So he's in a better place where he felt everything was on his shoulders here. And honestly, I don't think Thibs made his life even easier as well, honestly. So I'm happy for him that he's in a better place now. It's sad that he went through that darkness while he was here in New York as a Knick. But I don't think that's indicative of everyone's players' experience as a Knick here, because we've seen there's tons of guys who love being a Knick. Johnny Starks, all these guys, they just love it. Latrell, they all love being a Knick. For Julius, he didn't quite have the right, I want to say this correctly, mental
temperament.
To handle it here.
Yeah.
And he came in at a tough time too. So a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on him, and it overtook him. And it's a bummer. And also, he probably smoked way too much weed. The weed is really strong now, man.
You gotta keep
I'm not even kidding about that.
THC to about 20-25%. You go in the 30s, you're tweaking.
You go over 30, you're
tweaking.
Man.
You're bouncing off the walls. Yeah. You gotta relax.
And you do that every night and you're not playing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And you're at home watching games, and you're like, stoned,
and then you go on. Then you go watch KnicksFanTV and listen to a bunch of angry fans in the pack.
And you watch Into the Knicksverse, and they're like, "Where's Julius?"
Like, it can humble you, man. But
totally.
I'm with you 100%. With Julius, he really saw the two extremes of the fan base and the expectations. Like you said, he came in at the end of the dark ages and was part of the renaissance with the New York Knicks. Came in after a 17-game season, comes in, he becomes the most improved player. He's an all-star. He's all-NBA. He made all-NBA twice here, all-star 3 times. Like I said, most improved player. And so he got paid. And so Julius, when he became a Knick, he became the basketball version of a man. Like he really took on Storm and took the team on Storm, and became a beloved figure here. But like you said, the pressure, they're just like when you do well here, you're treated like a king. When you don't, it can get really ugly for you. This is why we call it the heaviest jersey in the league, because everybody can't handle that pressure. And one thing is for sure, history repeats itself, man. Patrick Ewing, the same Ewing that's waving the towels in the playoffs and calling to the fans, he hated the fans on his way out of here. Starberry got booed. Melo got booed. And you know what? If they don't bring it home, maybe one day Brunson gets booed. I can't tell you it's not going to happen. It just might.
Yes. Great point. Great point. Patrick, Daryl, those guys, yes, you could see that the boost affected them, but they never turned on the fans. They just swallowed it. Maybe there was a slight little comment here and there, but Julius would go big time, the thumbs down. I mean, so then to deal with it, he turned to medicating, where, Daryl was doing blow.
Yeah.
But that was victory blow. He's, Daryl, who knows what Daryl could have had the greatest career of all time if it weren't for that stuff. But,
yeah, it's true.
So Julius just took a different route, and he's a dad, and he's got a son. Remember all that he was probably worried about how it might affect his son, if his son even heard about any of that negativity.
Yeah,
I would be worried. I'd be worried myself. He just was he's cut from a different cloth.
Different cloth.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And the thing is especially with today's athlete, this isn't the 80s and 90s where it's just you had two sources for your criticism. You had the newspaper, you had the radio, and maybe occasionally if you're out on the street, somebody might wild out on you occasionally. Now, with this 24/7 news cycle, you have 100 million apps that all the players are on. We're all in the same arena. We're all in the same arena. They're all on it, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they're on their personal accounts or a burner account, because they all got them. So they're all in these spaces with us, and they're seeing it, and they're checking it. They're checking it at halftime. They're checking it in the locker room. So it's hard to stay mentally focused in this whole thing. So that's why Julius had one. Jalen has one. A lot of these guys have sports psychologists to help them lock in, focus, handle the pressure, the money and the fame and all of that. Like, it's a lot that goes into it. So,
absolutely,
I give him
and that's not a new thing.
Right.
Sports psychologists have been around since the 80s.
That's
90s.
right. That's right.
But you're right. Absolutely right. With social media, everyone has a voice.
Everyone
I look in the chat. I look in the chat and I see someone like slamming me. What am I going to do? Just let it go.
Right.
Right. But if I'm Julius, it's like, no, you got to just gotta let shit roll off of you.
Yeah. So, listen, I give him credit how he handled it. Everybody handles the mental issues differently. He did his best here. He had a lot of success here, and it was just time. And as the article mentioned, I wanted to point this out in the article because when I had put the town stuff out there that summer, that when
you knew it all along.
Well, yeah, and we always get the naysayers, blah, blah, you don't got sources and all that, right? But one of the justifications from the detractors was, well, they're not at the date where he can negotiate the extension. And my reply to everybody was like, it doesn't matter. He's not coming back. They're not talking about an extension. He's gone. He's done. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was the intel I got. I said, well, what about Julius? He said, well, Julius isn't coming back. This is probably going to go down by training camp. And sure enough, did. It was time. Both sides wanted to move on. It was time, man. Yeah.
It's like one of those things that really worked out well. Both teams benefited. We got the guy we needed. He's not perfect. He's not
perfect.
He's not perfect. And Julius is not perfect either. But both teams benefited from the trade. I wish we had been able to keep Dante. That's the one thing. But I really appreciate what Julius did while he was here.
Yeah.
And maybe it didn't come through, in my nightly recaps and all that stuff because I get into the minutia of things. But in general, he was a part of the Renaissance, as you put it. And I will never forget that. Once a Knick, always a Knick.
Yeah.
When Julius comes back or whenever it is he retires, I hope he will be also one of those guys waving the flag, down in former player celebrity row.
Yeah.
10, 15 years from now, because he definitely has a place in my heart because of everything he brought to this team.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's all love, never personal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Remember when his wife attacked us?
Yes.
We were part of that ugly chapter. I forget when I reviewed the article.
I was right there with you guys. Yeah, I remember that whole.
Yeah, she blamed us. She thought we were part of the mob. That's where the conductor thing came from, I think. That's where the conductor thing. I was like, lady, I'm just a conductor here. I host the show for the fans, by the fans. I don't tell them to, send you guys nasty grams and things of that nature. I don't even tell you to come on social media. I just do what I do in my arena, and that's that. But yeah, she was really pissed at me, boy. I didn't get it at the time.
Yeah. It was your fault that he was pushing Fournier aside when he was trying to calm him down. He's mercurial.
Yeah.
And she should know her guy's mercurial. I'm sure she does. She was just protecting him,
Yeah. She said I was the ringleader for the entire Knicks nation worldwide. I said, lady, I wish I had all that power. I'm just a
she's not too far off, bro. She's not too far off.
But at that time, that was like 5 years ago. That's one of the
responsibilities that,
Yeah.
We who get here in front of the camera and start talking about this, we establish tones, we react to tones, we can turn the tone, and that's why I started doing this. Just like you and JL were my inspiration, along with Macri, and it's a part of it. So we got to take that too. You know what I mean? Like you took it like a pro when she came after you. You took it like a pro.
Nothing ever personal, man. It's all a business at the end of the day. And, everybody has their place in the ecosystem, and we just do what we do, man. But, yeah. Look, man, I wish Julius well. I'm rooting for the Wolves this year. Hopefully they do well. I like Ant-Man. I like all those guys. I like some of the young players that they have. And I'm rooting for Dante as well, man.
But no way Ant is sixth best player. No way.
Yeah.
If he proves me wrong, then Minnesota might be there in the Western Conference Finals again.
Yeah, for sure. You just never know, man. Let me shout out this other super chat. Shout out to Charles Rainey, Fanchise channel member, $5 super chat, and number 2 on the chat leaderboard. He says, Knicks Nation, super hyped for this season. Not worried about the offense. We need defense. I'm in the building, 11:28. B-Day at midnight. Salute. Shout out to Charles Rainey. Charles, are you coming with us on the group excursion to Madison Square Garden? Are you coming with us, Charles? I think I did see your name on the order list. So looking forward to that. If not, we'll see you there regardless. And shout out to you, man. Happy birthday in advance. Way in advance. 2 months in advance. George, good show, man. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Absolutely. Well, into the Knicksverse YouTube channel, Nick at Knicksverse on Twitter. If you don't follow me yet, follow me. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for way too long. Way too long. Been waiting for another championship since 1973. When Walt Frazier and the whole team they were my absolute best. They were my idols. Still is totally. And I'm ready. I'm ready to get back there. And I'll be doing analysis, sharing my thoughts on the Knicks throughout the whole season. I do the recaps as well, so once you guys watch CP and Alex and JD live or whatever, hop on over into the Knicksverse and you'll get my take on it as well. Sometimes it's a little X-rated. Be ready for that. Everybody should know that by now. But it's fun. I love it. I have not been this excited for a season. I mean, I was really excited last season as well, but there were so many variables, the newness of everything. And then, sorry for all the Thibs lovers, just having another season with Thibs as the coach was it was like a little dark cloud, but we tried to deal with it and look how far this team got. I'm expecting greater things. Much greater things, health allowing. Yeah, that's the one thing.
There you go, man. Well said. And we'll close on that note. Great show, man. Enjoy the weekend. Salute to all my Fanchise channel members for tapping in, man. Fabian, I see you. John Talento. Charles said he's rocking with us. Yep. Shout out to Talento. Shout out to Charles Russell Whiskey. Eddie Suarez, Hard Jeezy. The Shells out there in LA. Shout out to the Shells. Shout out to Julio, a.k.a. the KFTV Watch Party Gang. William J. Bowman, salute. NYC
58 wins. 58 wins.
Let's
Jamaica
go.
Queens saying right there.
Jamaica Queens 22 always in here. Salute to Brightest Future as well. Jay from PR. Salute to everybody, man. You guys enjoy the weekend. Daniel Bosa, Joel, William Burton. I see you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Keep it locked, man. I'm one show for the fans by the fans. Like, share, subscribe. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.